gauge cools with the Orianna ult, the Gangplank ultimate, and it's going to make it a little bit difficult for WE to close that gap as long as OMG are positioned correctly.
And Graves makes it all the way to the last pick. Beishang's most played champion at 9, and you know, he's had some pretty great games with this as well. So we got WE who, you know, running a very WE composition. Game number 13 of Renekton here for the top laner in Morgan, while Curse, he's got one of the widest champion pools in the top lane, but he always comes back to this GP, which he's looked hit or miss on.
Oh yeah, but it does work very well against what WE are trying to do. So in this game, it is all going to come down onto whether WE can close that gap. Otherwise, the only person who can really get any sort of auto attacks or damage onto OMG is going to be Jiumeng on this Ezreal. But I'm a little bit worried that OMG, if they can pilot this composition correctly, just play at range, not giving the opportunity for WE to actually close that gap, and you've even got these big ultimates like that Shockwave, like the Gangplank ultimate, that can buy time and space for this OMG side.
I mean, a lot of build up towards those ultis, to be specific as well. Eric on your screen. Good to see that OMG, you know, giving him a bit of time in the sun. I think it's important because SMLZ is a very seasoned AD carry. He and Cold, who rejoined at the start of this year, were a bit exciting, but never hit that high bar we expected. Eric and Sora, the two newbies of the bottom lane in comparison to those two. And for OMG, giving them a bit of playtime on the Rift. Important here against WE. To play spoilers, remember. WE need this series win. WE need this series win so desperately, because after that they'll only have one more against top esports. If WE don't win here, RNG could sneak up on them and take that final playoff spot. 3 teams left in the playoff race here as we're week 10, day number 2, and WE have the chance to secure it right here and now. Team WE fans would be going through a bit of stress, a bit of anxiety, because OMG at times can be very unpredictable, and I think we all know how OMG play, and I can tell you all one thing, they're going to play towards top side, even if it's GP, I don't care. Hacker likes top.
I think it makes sense as well. I mean, especially when you're in this favorable matchup for Curse, just double down on it, try and pick off Morgan a couple of times, and honestly, when you're looking at Morgan, who his TP play has oftentimes been the setup for the likes of WE, and as we talked about, constant flow with the wind, where following in, getting these 5-man brawls, picking off members, or even answering for plays elsewhere on the map. So if you put some early pressure towards Morgan, oftentimes you can start to destabilize WE just a tad.
I'll also say that as we look towards top side, I'll speak about Ezreal in a second, but it is a GP. There we go. Oh yeah, Grass proc, feels nice. Well, Morgan starts at half health, but Renekton sustained, all that jazz. With Corrupting Potion, only one of them actually burned. Trial by Fire now activated, and Morgan, we're going to be looking at him for quite a while, I think. Has he started Q? He wants to get Curse.
Yeah, wants to get Curse to get the extra bit of healing.
Does get
to manage
it,
but yeah, Curse is trading back super well here.
I mean,
Morgan, this is not the start, buddy.
This is why. This is why a lot of it, recently, in the past 3 weeks, I mean, Renekton's been getting punished a lot more. We've seen a lot more GP. We've seen the Quinn matchup.
Karma.
You know, Karma, even the Cannon walking into it. We've seen be quite favorable, so very controversial. I don't want to bring us down to Jiumeng, because Jiumeng has opted in for Lethal Tempo now. It's been talked about a lot on the broadcast, a harder little rune to take through. But the Lethal Tempo, only people like Jackulov have been confident enough to pull it out.
Especially because it relies on you getting so many more of those auto attacks in and spacing it with those Mystic shots. But I'm kind of surprised, to be honest, because when we talked about, hey, look, WE are going to struggle in certain situations to get on top of OMG, having the Conqueror being able to stack it up through those Mystic shots could have worked out a bit better to give a bit more power to your Mystic shots and your damage overall. But look, Jiumeng is like, if we want to win this game, we have to be able to close that gap, and in those situations, being on something like the Lethal Temple.
Missing with the engage here after getting battered against the wall. Sora and Eric doing a great job. Exhaust is down as well. He might actually have to flash. One more auto, flashes late, and Eric! First blood for the new AD carry.
Classic Eric. I mean, look, he comes into the LPL and manages to get a kill against Missing and Jiumeng, who we've been saying has actually been pretty damn good when it comes to LPL bottom lanes, but Missing not respecting that, and also a super late flash coming out from him.
I mean, just nicely done.
Yeah.
As Curse up in the top side.
With a Bard. Like, Bard is not a champion that's known for his lane presence. So the fact that they're able to get this 2v2 kill is pretty damn good.
Yes, a very good start here for OMG and for Jiumeng and Missing. I mean, at least for Jiumeng, he's an Ezreal. He can stay in the lane and just stick around for now. Missing comes back to the bottom lane. And first blood does go over to Eric, who picks up a Colt because of it. And meanwhile, mid, Icon is bullying out. And this is something, again, recently for OMG, Icon has been laning so well.
And especially in a matchup that's this heavily favored towards Icon, I expect him to continue this. You have so much damage that can come through from the Clockwork Wind-Up, your ability to zone Teacherma as well, where you're able to reposition the ball. But Sora now, going to be walking away from Missing and
Bard. Yeah, magical journey out of there, thankfully. Icon wants to shove the lane. He's low on mana, but Teacherma will not follow with the Abscond Abduct. Please note that Icon is 10 CS up, and Teacherma had to TP back in as he comes through and receives this wave. Icon in a good position to either walk or, yep, TP the same.
Brave TP, actually, because he did see beishang and Missing were both hovering there, so always the potential there for them to just come in on that TP play, but we'll manage to get back to lane, and you can see Missing wanting to get back down towards his bottom side to make sure he can support Jiumeng as this wave is pushing in. But so far, OMG at least keeping this game nice and tidy, and picking up that early kill bot lane is massively helpful.
Much like EDG, it's when they're out of playoffs that the pressure's off and they start playing some great League of Legends. Good start.
I want to see what's happened in this top lane, though, because I'm looking back at this minion deficit. I'm not sure if it's just because the wave is frozen in front of Curse's tower, which is why we might see Morgan getting that early back. There is a little bit of a CS lead there for Morgan, but I think it might just be because of a freeze.
We'll see. I'm sure we'll get vision up there quite shortly. The reason we're looking bot is because there's a lot of trading going back and forth. The pickaxe in hand for Jiumeng instead of going for something like the tier early on, wants the damage for trading in this bottom lane, and versus a cull might be a good option. As across the board, WE's lanes, they're not going too red hot. Of course, top side was evened out by Morgan, as you mentioned. He's going back now with beishang at his wing, but Hacker's going to be spotted towards the bottom side after clearing out this lens. And Jiumeng just wants to trade it, but Dragon, will it be started here?
The interesting thing to me, though, is that when we look, I can understand why WE's lanes aren't going so hot, because honestly, you've got Morgan who's in a losing matchup, Teacherma is in a losing matchup as well. So trying to get any sort of advantages, especially through beishang, is going to be hard when you're losing pretty heavily on the top side of the map. And you've already got a kill that went over to Eric on the bottom side of the map, so now you've got a third losing lane as well. The thing is, though, I want to see Hacker be more active as a result. He's been farming his own jungle, great, he's keeping up in time with beishang, but I want to see Hacker actually making moves to get advantages off of his lanes. It looks like that's what we're going to get.
Or at least we get the 2v2 once again. Trendline pulls in. Sora is going to be the target with Ignite down. One more hit. Cannon Barrage flies through the air as well. With Eric now the target, the slice and dice. WETP bot. What we saw at the start of the split happens once more. And now Hacker late to the party as WE going to get some serious plating.
And we said it. Morgan loves to use his TPs in this bottom lane to turn around plays, find advantages for WE, and once again we see it there. Sora and Eric bite off more than they can chew, and WE punish.
And meanwhile, Morgan's going to walk all the way up, and it seems like he misses a bit of turret plating himself, but the advantage is just given beishang out of all junglers is going to be massive.
But this is the way Morgan needs to play this. If he just sits in lane, he's going to continue to lose anyway. There's not much he can really do there. So finding advantages where he can influence the rest of the map is far more important for Morgan, and this is the way that he does it. So nice bind coming through from Sora there, but he is still super squishy. He's still barred, so when this play turns around, beishang comes in. One, you get the TP from Morgan coming in as well to land themselves a second. And that's now beishang, who we talked about as this other carry for WE, how the team will often play through him on invades. He's been set up, and he wants a bit more.
And with Smokescreen, Magical Journey must be used. He gets out just in time. OMG were pushing out that bottom lane, so Eric and Sora can roam and start threatening the dragon that beishang has started.
However, it's the blue handoff time, so Icon is up on this top side of the map, so
yeah,
there's not really a position here from OMG to try and contest. Hacker instead will look to try and trade for this Rift Tower on the top side.
Dragon goes down, the Rift Tower, you mentioned, now being pinged out. WE actually beelining it up towards this objective. It's on a ward too. So for OMG to get caught with their pants down is going to be an option, but Hacker is going to reset. He has to back away, and for WE, 2 objectives for the price of none.
And WE are trying to play around the advantage that they have with TP. Jiumeng still has his, so he can play up towards this Rift Herald, try and play keep away from OMG whilst they're being involved.
Shockwave hits two members, missing, caught out. Flash forward with the 80 carry. Getting the kill. Oh, sorry, going to Icon with the auto to finish off. I think OMG wanted some blood.
Decisive play from OMG, though. That was out of nowhere. You get that quick arrow into the Shockwave, and very well played from OMG to get that pick for themselves. However, they haven't quite been able to turn it in towards the likes of that Rift Herald or in towards some of these other objectives. But Teacherma.
It's going to duck at the ready. Shockwave for the flash, but Teacherma. It's going to duck some connector on the minion in the way. Icon flashes in the end, only just survives. That was nicely played to get out, but now with no mid laner there for OMG, they have to rotate and protect, and W are going to start up the Herald.
That's the play, though. They managed to get control of that mid lane. They turn towards this objective, and this is how WE tend to start to at least bring these games back. Even when they start to fall a little bit behind, they will still find these picks, they'll find these plays with these styles of compositions that allow us and get small advantages. They can turn into big objective trades, and that's exactly what we're seeing here again.
I want everyone to pay attention to mid quickly, though. Even though we saw Icon burst out, burn the flash, he's up 20 CS on Teacherma. And first item is very shortly approaching. But Jiumeng are missing. Speaking of the mid lane, are going to push this in and get some more gold back on this Ezreal. Beishang's Rift Herald still in hand.
I'm actually surprised by the build from Icon. I thought we were going to see the GLP builds that we've seen a couple of Oriannas go for. Still going towards that Ludens. I think I would have preferred the GLP because honestly the mid-game spike that you get from Icon would be super strong. But even just the act of in stopping this onslaught, this engage coming through from Morgan, from Teacherma, slowing down the potential for any of them to get on top of you could have worked out super well. So surprised to see the Ludens here from Icon. We'll have to see if the burst that comes later on when they go towards obviously that late game scaling with Icon and Curse is going to be worth it, or if they just get run over when it comes to this mid game.
Well, we might see it in action very shortly. 2 minutes 30 till the next dragon. WE picked up the first one, but OMG starting to control this river a little better with Eric farming that bottom side by himself. I'm looking across the board for these first items, and note that Curse is still on the way to the Trinity Force, but 11 minutes in, doing a good job in progressing there. I have to say, Morgan doing better in this matchup than a lot of other Renektons versus GPs. As Cannon Barrage comes down under the turret, he flashes away. Morgan, bit too far forward, son. Cannon Barrage, and the turret doesn't get that last shot, but Shockwave now used in the mid lane. Teacherma not going to absorb the magical journey that comes through in the end, but versus 3, Tempered Fate used by him. He just wants to delay it a bit, and Icon gets the kill anyway.
Honestly, I think he only just helped in making sure Icon was the one who picked up that kill in the situation. However, round 2 on this dive and top side.
Barrel used a little bit early here. Morgan's jumping in. It's Beishang who starts to tank with collateral damage, and out he goes. Rift Herald gets the charge, and WE pushing through this top lane, getting a bit of gold for themselves.
It's not so much about getting the gold onto Morgan, though. It's about getting this gold onto beishang, making sure that he's the one that's set up for this game, because he said, hey, look, Jiumeng could be really good to try and get some advantage towards him in the bottom side, but they don't already have a push down there. You've already got this dive in the top lane. Might as well make sure that you're getting this structure for themselves, and beishang, again, the benefactor of all this extra gold.
Yeah, the Graves, that could, that will. Because he'll have 2 items very, very shortly. Backing now with some of that gold. And WE, speaking of gold, have about 800 extra over OMG in this game, number 1. And remember, that Cloud Dragon's coming up in 55 seconds, so good time for them to back. And good time to be picking up some of these items when you might be fighting over this next objective.
I see we're getting back timers across the board here from WE, so they'll be there just in time for Dragon. They can set up their vision nice and correctly. Eric and Sora will be a little bit late to the party as they've only just started backing now. Actually, Jiumeng's cancel is back there, so he's looking to try and shove in one more wave, although I just assumed that he would have backed away. Maybe he needs it a little bit more for Sheen.
Maybe. I like when you see GPs on three items of the Trinity Force, and you're like, well, components are there. You need 333 gold. That's how much it costs to complete.
Yeah,
when you have all those 3. So yeah, must have picked it up with a wave. Now has the opportunity to rotate down. Cannon Barrage not available, nor the TP, so Curse is taking the manual hard labor way of getting to this dragon.
Yeah, they'll be able to push over towards this. I'm actually kind of surprised to see OMG going towards this. This is where, for all of the LCK savants that we've been talking about, this would actually be a great opportunity for Curse to freeze this top wave and just not allow Morgan any sort of into this game. We already know OMG are scaling towards that later game, but here's the play.
Arrow, Eric begins it off, missing delays time with the stopwatch burn. TP's coming in, but missing is just getting absolutely pummeled. 5 versus 4, True Shot Barrage only through Sora. The Dragon started, and just like that for WE, they might just let this one go.
Yeah, so that Dragon will most certainly go over. Nice pick coming through from OMG. But it's still, I'd like to see this kind of freeze coming in from OMG and taking this game. You've now got this Gangplank. Yes, who's got the Trinity Force, but give him a bit of time to keep scaling. Morgan will start to fall off. Teacherma will fall off. And yeah, you'll have to contest with Jiumeng, but honestly, at that stage of the game, your composition is going to be so strong that you just outweigh what WE can do.
Bit of gold plating available for WE, though, that were taken. 1,200 almost. 640 for OMG. A lot of it did go up onto Morgan and beishang, as we saw, but Icon is going to be absolutely massive. Already is. 40 CS is just about the lead against Teacherma. Balloon's Echo has picked up 5 stacks on the Dark Seal. Level 11 versus level 9. This is going to be the Orianna carry game as Hacker on top of beishang. Bit of damage put down at the cost of the Scuttle, but they're setting up because Rift Herald will be spawning in under a minute.
Eric couldn't get control of this bottom side. You can see Jiumeng and Missing are actually going to back away now, I assume, but they're going to stick around for a little bit of time. But we're going to get a replay here of the pick. Nice job coming through to get onto Missing, and WE, unfortunately, just not quite setting up as they would have wanted to for this play. Late TP coming in from Morgan, who was only trying to walk down, and you're not really able to get Teacherma into position. So OMG will manage to get one. Means that our gold is dead even as we start to look towards these next brawls and the likes of the Rift Herald.
And when you look at what OMG have drafted with GP and Orianna, you're like, how can we do any wrong in this game, number one? Feels like a lot of it will be onto beishang as he's almost towards the Black Cleaver. Been farming up a bit of a storm. CS lead within the jungle realm itself. Blade of the Wrong King was actually just picked up by Morgan as well. Still waiting for Teacherma, who's farming in this bottom lane to get his proto belt because he went for the Lost Chapter. Solves the mana issue, but now wants that first item himself. Herald spawned. OMG here first, and WE showing no interest whatsoever in picking this one up.
They're just going to look to try and trade the Terra bot side regardless. So, like, Rift Herald will net you a turret, but WE have already got that on bot lane, and it looks like they could even get at least a little bit of a push in towards mid. But it's WE looking to go, hey, we're going to accelerate the game through objectives. Could have been nice for them to try and find a good fight over towards the likes of this Rift Herald, especially when you look at Teacherma as a Gangplank ultimate to try and steal it away, give the opportunity for WE to get on top of OMG, but that's not going to be the case thus far. We're just going to have it back away, so a very slow-paced game, which is going to favor OMG right now.
After the early blood we saw, yeah, it definitely feels like we've slowed down a little bit until this Herald gets pulled down, and with 3 people mid for OMG, this turret's just dead anyway. Eric's going to absorb some of the gold and then move on down. The potential of finding beishang. Icon's even moved as well. 10.2 CS a minute, Orianna. He's shown as the pick off here. Teacherma in a bit of a pickle himself. beishang now walking into a dangerous bait. True Shot Barrage tags. Curse doesn't get the barrel, and beishang just walks past everyone, and as you can see, still quite a bit of damage out of WE.
A good amount there. But it does mean that, look, you're going to have WE shove in mid, and bot lane is just going to be collected by OMG again. So this is where we need to see a little bit of proactivity come through from WE, especially where pushing in these side lanes, trying to see if they can get OMG to commit 2 members here with Curse and Icon to top and bot, and then they can look for some sort of dive underneath this mid lane structure, but may not be on the cards quite yet as they're going to be back together.
You know what the problem with OMG has been during this split is that they get into a mid game and the decision making kind of goes left, right, and center. So I think we need to question how they progress forward from here with, you know, the lead they have through Icon, through Eric, through the early game. Because transitioning to late for them will be a fun time, but they're just got to make it. As beishang's got his laugh button stuck. And don't expect any fighting until we get to this ocean, but even then, maybe OMG just give it up. No, TP being burnt. We could have a fight around it.
Yeah, it's just Jiumeng getting back towards mid. It is an ocean. It is nice, but honestly, I think I'd rather still prefer OMG just take it easy, unless they can again try and find some sort of pick before this fight kicks off. And their composition is really good at finding picks between the Cannon Barrage, Chanted Crystal Arrows, even the Tempered Fate. But in a straight up 5 versus 5, and especially with WE spread out as they are, with they have multiple different angles of attack, even TPs to get Teacherma into position, I think I'd be a bit wary about OMG if I'm moving in.
But they're going to do it anyway. I just noticed there's 4 deaths on WE, and 3 of them are on missing. So let's see how this next fight goes. Just keep that in the side of your mind. It's going to begin by OMG. They are on their scuttle, so WE know, and they're walking in.
Missing could be caught again, though. Here's the TP from Teacherma.
Well, Missing wants to engage with the Dredge line at 1700. beishang trying to walk on in, not stolen away. Tempered Fate locks down the jungler as Missing is absorbing once again. Flashes away, and Enchanted Crystal Arrow does not connect. Got to watch that ball because Icon Shockwave will tip the tide. Comes on in, almost kills Missing, and Curse finishes the job. Morgan runs in and Icon still survives while Eric goes forward with the rest of his team. They're getting poked out by beishang. Jiumeng sends out the True Shot Barrage. Tags 2 to get him low. And right now, this Ezreal, another big part of the damage, but WE lose the Dragon, they lose a member, and OMG scurry ahead.
WE are not really finding the engagements that they want, and I honestly thought when we got Teacherma TPing in, he'd try and move towards the mid lane onto some of the creeps that were there, and then you've got this corral that you can set up onto OMG, but if you look at when the replay pops up, where the positioning was for WE, Teacherma is positioned right beside Morgan. They're relying on trying to catch out OMG in this pit, and they're not really given the opportunity. So you see here, Teacherma, instead of going towards the creeps in the mid lane, he TPs the bot side, and then you have no way of getting on towards Curse, on towards Icon at the back here, and there's so much poke and potential that can come out from OMG. So they get the Dragon. This Shockwave as well onto Missing secures the kill, and although you nearly get one back into Icon, Morgan just doesn't quite have the damage.
Oh, we come back to a Shockwave that actually missed. Tempered Fate used. But there's so many people on top of Icon. His Shockwave of Teacherma doesn't connect. And Icon somehow still alive as W have to kite this one back. But Teacherma dying here in the middle. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow lands on top of Missing. He uses Stoneplate once again, re-engages, but Jiumeng, he wants to survive. He doesn't want to go back in. And 0-5-2 from Missing. I think he's missing the point of this game one.
Yeah, it's not going so hot for the WE support. Now OMG, they're sticking around this part. I'd be very surprised if they start up with Jiumeng.
Yeah, okay, onto Hacker. The Mystic Shot does connect. The Cannon Barrage down the middle from OMG's top laner is great as beishang only just survives Hacker. The same, Jiumeng gets taken down by the Pirate. And OMG looking like the better team in this game. Absolutely.
What is going on today? 2 of the teams that are knocked out of playoffs are now just wiping the floor with 2 of our playoff contenders. Not going to be able to stop the back there, but still, this is decisive and so damn clean from OMG.
And I have to say, Sora once again having a great support performance. The Bard ulti there on Icon that we saw. It's pretty much the reason that he lives. So, props to the supporting staff.
And now we're talking about, look, we've got this. Oh, Eric might get caught by Missing. He'll be fine. But we've got this composition that scales better into the late game. That is now 4,000 gold ahead. Plus, they are the ones that have so much control as to how these fights kick off. I mean, this is looking really good from OMG, but overcommitment from WE. They tried to get the pick onto Icon here, turn it into some of these towers in the top side, but Shockwave, even though it goes wide, Teacherma not hitting this Orianna ult is pretty big, and it means that then Icon's able to escape. And at that point, there's so much out from WE that they're just not quite able to take them down.
And Icon could just get back into the fight and then help deal with Teacherma. What WE are doing this game is not what WE has been doing in the past, but I think a lot goes on to how OMG played this out. 2 items strong in their solo lanes.
This is the thing. They usually do play compositions like this, and they usually go for styles like this. We said, hey, look, they like to go for picks. They like to try and outman you. The thing is, though, they usually have something like a Twisted Fate or the Galio that provides super easy, hard engage. Teacherma on this Sylas just isn't quite cutting it as clean as it was. Now, OMG getting brave with a minute towards this next round.
Killer again in the middle of the wave. Mystic was waiting to go in. Morgan off to the wing himself. And Wasn't spotted out, but until they come mid, as it groups up 5, Tempered Fate landing onto 2 once again. That gives position for Icon, but he's not nearby. The Cosmic Binding lands, and Icon now joining the fight. The Cannon Barrage laid in the middle, and the Shockwave used to execute Morgan. Low health bars on Hacker and Sora, who this time around shouldn't have gone in. Jiumeng pokes him back. True Shot Barrage nails down as Icon finally comes back in and gets a double himself. Sora against the corner. Won't die to Teacherma as Curse now joining in. Barrels at the ready. And beishang gets hit by the Baron as well. Curse is on the way through. Teacherma is trying to escape as well. And this does not look good for WE as Icon and Curse finish him off.
And that was such a good fight from OMG, being able to play at range from WE, getting a great start of that engagement from Sora as well. And OMG are looking really good with Eric and Sora.
Sora had one misstep in that fight, but you're right. The Tempered Fate was amazing once again. 0, 1, and 10 here on the support. We're going towards the next point being Ocean Soul.
Yeah,
so
dragon.
1 away.
Third Dragon coming in for OMG. They're going to pick it up cleanly, and this is looking like it's very quickly running away from WE, more so than it already has. Because now when you look towards the likes of this Baron, you're not really going to be able to go towards it as WE.
Yeah.
Good amount of damage from Jiumeng, but not quite able to hit us. But
you know, for WE fans, you should be scared. If this continues, even if OMG pick up game 1, like, sure, WE can find their way back. But the problem is, if WE go on to lose this series, they have top esports next. And they are not safe on 9 wins because RNG are behind them now. We'll have a look at this play again because OMG is the one that started it, the one that ended it.
So Sora wasn't quite able to get the double summon onto Jiumeng, but it's still perfect here. Shockwave to finish off Morgan. And here's the misstep you're talking about. He was trying to see if he could get maybe the stun onto the pillar there, but step too far forward. Decent job here from Jiumeng to answer back with some of the kills, but it's looking good for OMG when it gets to these fights. Now we're looking at a 5-kill Orianna.
Yep.
Luden's Echo, Morello. Looks like working up towards that Rabadon's death cap as well. I wouldn't be surprised with how strong Icon is and how much gold he has in his back pocket.
Let's go.
Essence Reaver for the Gangplank as well. Like, he's going for that full crit Gangplank. There is no messing about with OMG in this game.
Nope, beishang even feeling the wrath, but it's still a grave, so he's able to get away with Phase Rush. And we've got ourselves a 5k gold lead at 25 minutes into the game. A gold lead that, from here on, should continue to stretch. We've got a Baron up, we've got the Ocean Soul for OMG coming up as well. I want to see that Magi's come through from Icon on top of the items you already talked about.
And the thing is, I'd usually be looking at WE going, okay, the best bet for them here is to try and find some sort of 5v5 team fight at the likes of this Ocean Dragon that's going to spawn. Teacherma steal away the Gangplank goats and try and close that distance. But I'm going to hold on to that thought.
Let's see, Cannon Barrage going to be laid down. Sora's coming in on the way to help out Curse. Morgan wanted to 1v1, but it never is. Cosmic Binding, sorry, Tempered Fate used with the flash away and TP from Icon to help the play. Only saving grace from WE as they got the TP out of this Orianna, but WE have moved into position. beishang's caught on out. The damage is massive. The collateral damage doesn't get him out. And WE just getting caught out at this point. OMG have a Baron to attend to.
And that's exactly where they're going to go. You've so much damage on this team. They got the jungler. And even when you look at Teacherma, it's just backed away to try and finish off maybe this Sonya's, but there it is. But either way, OMG, they are clean right now.
And they can't walk into this river because Icon still has the Shockwave available. Jiumeng trying to poke them down. But it's getting taken down so quickly with Eric in this pit. The Shockwave hits 3. Jiumeng gets bursted out. Has to back and pay respect. There's a smite in the pit here for OMG. And the Baron will drop down. WE have to walk with their heads in their hands because OMG have a 6k gold lead and the worm in their pocket.
And there's nothing that WE can do. As I was saying, I'd love to see, okay, let's have this Gangplank go to stolen away by Teacherma. Then maybe what he can do is slow OMG enough to buy time for Missy, Morgan, and himself to jump onto OMG. But he doesn't have that option anymore because of how far they are behind, and how well OMG are picking off WE in transition here as well.
OMG look nigh unstoppable in this game number 1. Let me just come back and remind you folks. RNG is 7-7, WE are 9-5. WE need every game they can get, but they need every series as well to be absolutely safe. This is a series that guarantees their playoffs, and it is super hard to see a convincing WE in this game 1. So we'll question them as they go forward. But in this game, it's all about Eric apparently with the gold. 4, 1, and 7, 3 items. We expect this out of Eric right now. He's got a great name, very classic, you know, very, you know, new age. Yeah. Eric's not an old name. Eric's that 21-year-old guy who goes clubbing with you. He shows you all the cool spots.
He works in sales somewhere, you
well,
know, in the tech company.
I mean, yeah, but that's only his day job at night. You know, he's a DJ. But he's not one of those poser DJs, as Curse flashes away. He's one of the cool ones that you're like, dude, you've got taste. And you're really good at this. And you get me free drinks at the club, so thank you, Eric.
Everyone say thank you.
Well, hang on. We say thank you, Eric, and then we move forward. You're right about the base race, though, because if you look in the bottom lane, inhibitor turret is just going to be taken. And Hacker and Icon are just having a great time here. They're going to back away as WE move into River outside of Vision, but Teleport's being burnt mid. Curse is coming in. Jiumeng can't stay, and you know what? Icon's still there. Hacker's just going to end the game. WE, probably time to defend the Nexus, I reckon, as Morgan is going to do exactly that with Teacherma. Meanwhile, Curse gets 1 for 1 with Jiumeng taking him down in response. We're fighting across multiple fronts as Morgan and Teacherma might not be able to survive. Sora and Curse onto beishang. Sorry, Eric is the one fighting. Meanwhile, in the base, Icon's going to go down. Teacherma and Morgan have successfully defended.
Hacker's got to run for the hills. He's gone.
Look, WE may lose the same amount, but they defend the base.
They do, but they lose the Ocean Soul. They need to get here very quickly. No TPs available. This Ocean Soul is now gone over into the hands of OMG.
Well, yes, it is. Had to pause for that one. Teacherma might find Eric on the way out, but will not follow through the magical journey. So Ocean Soul, as we expected. I was ready for that to be stolen away. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I was a little bit. I was like, maybe not, but still, OMG. They've taken both Nexus Towers. They have taken the Inhibitor. They have taken the Ocean Soul. They are so far ahead of OMG, and I'm not even just talking about in gold or the dragons. Their composition is even scaling to monumental levels. Infinity Edge they have completed for Curse. You've got that Spellbinder finished for Icon as well. He's like, I don't need that Rabadon's deck cap. We can just end in one more fight, and Spellbinder is going to hit that hard.
Yeah, I still want the Magi's, but I'll take the Spellbinder for now. And WE, even though they managed to hold on, they have a bare Nexus. I want someone to backdoor. And you know what? Icon has TP, but there's no ward in the base. OMG want to do this the traditional way, that's fine. Or they could do it the LPL way and backdoor because, you know, you got Eric on your team. And when you have Eric, also known as Cry, when you turn around his name, or, you know, and change the R in the I.
I was going to say Kirik.
No, you get Cry, because that's what he does to his opponents. He makes them cry. As Hacker at half health, but might not matter because look top, Curse adding pressure, and OMG grouped up with this Ocean Soul, feeling pretty good. They got a minute 30 till the next Baron as well, so a lot of options available here for OMG to close this one out. As Tempered Fate used, missing, flies through as a golden mess. Against the wall, the 0-6 Nautilus just not having a good game as the depth charge was used well, but now that the stone plate's down, he has to flash away. Eric matches that in the middle. This Ashe is auto-attacking comfortably, but onto Jiumeng, he has to 1v3. Eric goes golden. He's burning down beishang. Teacherma manages to kill him. I like the ability to carry in my League of Legends games as Morgan into the middle of the cannon barrage. It's a bit dangerous. Flashing forward here with the Cosmic Binding, ends up netting the kill on top of this Croc. WE with 3 people left remaining now have to defend, but Hacker wants to go forward alongside Curse. Teacherma, golden in the nick of time. Jiumeng is poking them down the Ocean Soul, paying the dividends that they wanted. Sora takes the magical journey, and the pillar stops them from following. But WE hold on, and the game goes on.
And they're so healthy as well, thanks to this Ocean Soul. They get poked low, they come right back at it. Teacherma now has to run away from the creeps.
Tempered Fate used. Jiumeng trying to 1v3. Once again here, Arcane shifts away. True Barrage is flying through the skies, and you know what? Jiumeng might be what gets them through if WE can find a win.
They are trying so desperately, and Morgan even getting a good flank in that fight to finish off some of the members of OMG, but still, even then, not exactly the cleanest of fights, and you can see just how far that it's behind WER, even when they get the perfect fight for them, they're not able to close it out.
Now, Dak, the missing gets caught out here, but you know what? Who should we focus on? You tell me.
Well, I'm looking at Morgan, at least for the majority of this fight, because he's got good access to backline.
Sorry, but the answer's Eric, who flashes for this. Look at the gumption of this man. Dodges the Mystic shot, goes golden. Teacherma has absconded duck. That's the problem with that play. But you know what? He almost 1v3. That's pretty pog.
He did. The thing is, though, maybe
cares?
if he kited back, they would have been able to win. But either way, he does manage to get the kills. Now OMG, once again, looking for Mystic.
Missing is 0 and 7. Just let him live. Stone plates used. Jiumeng off on the side. This is a flanking angle from WE because OMG have gone into the jungle. Morgan not tanky enough as a late game Renekton here. And chat across the arrow onto Jiumeng. And maybe he's gone too far forward. He flashes away and he's just dead. Morgan re-engages, but he's dead as well. And the Ocean Soul means OMG can charge for the rest of this fight. Dredgeline doesn't connect. And missing. No more League of Legends for you in this game, number 1. You've died enough.
And now it's going to be OMG with Sora keeping beishang at bay. They can move into the base. Although, actually, TP coming through from Teacherma to try and kill off the minions, but
Dude,
it doesn't matter.
This
There's
is
no
going to walk
Nexus turrets.
through to the end. 4 people of OMG don't care. Look at where WE are. Sora's being such a nuisance. And open Nexus means open game 1. Run it through bot. And that was perfect League of Legends. This is the best.